All right, so today I am joined by cabaret artist and musician Kim David Smith. How are you doing today?
I am great. I am resisting as best I can, crumbling under the existential thunderhead that is looming over all of us. But I'm otherwise
I
great.
was great, good, good. I mean, we're all in that same boat, but yes.
Uh-huh.
So tell me, how excited are you to release your new album, Mostly Marlene?
Oh, I am beyond excited. I've been working on as a show and as a concept for a record. I've been working on mostly Marlena, which has a purposely cheesy, Vegas-y, touching on that sort of like aspect of Marlene Dietrich's career title. Ever since March of 2020, when I did the first version of it at Club Coming, and then we didn't do it for a while after that. Let me tell you, it was like the 2nd of March, and it was like, ooh, first case in New York. Ooh, here we go. And it all slid into the mire and the morass after that. But yeah, it's been so I've been working on it. It was part of my the project was part of my sort of pandemic art life raft for
Okay.
myself.
Okay.
Something that's been very buoying for me, and I like to think buoyant for others.
Yes, definitely. So this album is described as a celebration of Marlene Dietrich's music and legacy. What first drew you to her as an artistic muse?
Well, it's she's come at me from all directions, as many have. Um, my father first gave me a biography on Marlene when I was 15. And around that time, I was really getting into the musical Cabaret, mostly through the gorgeous movie version, Bob Fosse's version
Hmm.
with our gal Liza. And so I was investigating music of the Weimar Republic, and of course, she's very much housed in that music and time just before she heads over to the U.S. in 1930. And so in amongst all of that sort of soup, she's always sort of been a shadowy presence, and the light just kept getting cast on her in my mind and my imagination through the years. And because of also I was like, is it a little too cliche to investigate
Yeah, yeah.
myself through the prism of this lady? Answer is no. And yes. And then the New York Times reviewed one of my other shows and proclaimed me as the male Marlene Dietrich. Actually, it says a male, but I say the. It's like whatever. Who's fact checking me at this point? And we don't do fact checking anymore anyway. This is the world we live in. So, and I was just like, you know what? If that is how that is, then so be it.
And so
Just
be
live
it.
my
Yes.
own.
Yes. And you've also called this album as an act of protest and celebration of queer existence. Can you elaborate on the intersection of your artistry and activism?
For me, it's about create, and it's what I enjoy about people like Joey Arias, Justin Vivian Bond. It's about being a gathering space
Hmm.
where we can wear our truest colors, shriek our loudest shrieks, and snap our loudest snaps all together, and to just sort of like that's a time for the straights to be at bay. That's a time for certainly those who wish us poorly to fuck right off. That's my approach with it. And it just in ordinary times, whatever that is, in ordinary times, this would just be literally be me waving a queer flag.
Yeah.
It feels like this year doing this with like the Kennedy Centers being just like so like they want to do like a Christ worshipy
Hmm.
what the what anyway, not that, but my God, it's like, oh my God, are they gonna sell any tickets? Um it just feels like all of a sudden the brazen trumpet through which I blow my like most Kimmish winds, to like just to draw just for the attention machine, let alone anything else. It just feels like now it's laden with so much more meaning, and like anything that we do as a gay person
Yeah.
exist. And I say queer existence is resistance. I'm sure I've purloined that from somebody somewhere along the line. But That's what I say. And it just is like being a gay person checking a book out of the library. That's resistance, you know.
Exactly. Yes.
Ordering your cortado is resistance, let alone getting up on stage, singing the music of Kylie Minogue, Marlene Dietrich, Liza Minnelli, and really just like seeing, finding, housing ourselves in the light of these icons
Mhm.
that already draw us together. It feels unfortunately important.
Exactly. I mean, I would say that an album like Mostly Marlena is very timely and needed right now. And I mean, it shouldn't have this,
Gonna be.
but it is. I mean, so yeah. But the album's first single, a powerful German rendition of Cabaret, came out on February 21st. How has that been received?
Oh, just great. I mean, the people I've been sending it to specifically just for giggles are like, oh my God, Kim, this is the most Kimish thing ever. Because it's like all auf Deutsch just for the fun of it. Like I found myself last year listening a lot to actually the year before because we recorded it's a live and more record in that there are four bonus track duets and the rest 17 tracks is live, four tracks are studio. And we recorded the live last like February 2024. And so about 6 months before we did that show that ultimately became the bulk of the record, I just was listening to Liza's recently released and streaming for the first time live in New York 1979, which is actually at Carnegie Hall. I don't know why they didn't put that, but whatever. Um, and she does this amazing monologue ahead of Cabaret toward the end of the show. And I just kept being like, I'm finding myself in here. It's like I'm just like existing in here. And so I was just like, it's so wildly cliched to do the song Cabaret in your Cabaret show, but let's find the delicious Kim version.
Mhm.
And to me, it was hilarious to do the whole thing in German for some reason. That's actually a joke. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, it sounds
Worked.
great. The accordion, Matt Pod's accordion is just so sublime on the record, and it just sounds especially fantastic in that track. I'm really proud of it.
Good, good. And you also perform a French language version of Kylie Minogue's Padam Padam. How
Yeah.
did this reinterpretation come about?
Well, again, it's just like, okay, this epic universe pivoting. She does it every now and then, and she's my main gal. She's my Jesus, is our Kylie. I got her first record on vinyl when I was 6,
Nice.
and I was gay before that, but I was gayer afterwards, let me tell you. Um, and when Padam came out, I was just like, I of course was ensorcelled because like, I do have to, sometimes something will come out and be like, all right, next, I'll hold my excitement to the next one. But like this was just like, whoa, this is
Mm,
so unbelievably seismic. And I was just like, well, I don't want to just do like a, like
yeah.
cover. I was like, so I got my friend Gay Marshall. I always joke that her middle name is Pride. I don't know if she does.
Gay pride.
But I got my friend Kay Marshall on the phone. She's a an American cabaretist living in Paris, and I was just like, "What can we do?" So I got a custom French translation from her, and again with Matt Pot on the accordion, it just sounds so fabulous. And of course, because like the Piaf, the very accidental Piaf reference of the onomatopoeic, not really a word, padam, from Piaf's song Padam from the 50s. Um, it just was sort of like, it made so much sense to sort of give it that sort of French street corner kind of Little Sparrow interpretation. And so that's what we did.
Right, there you go. Well, the album also features guest artists like Charles Bush, Joey Arias, Bright Light, but also your mother, Linda
Yeah.
Randall, appears on the album.
Yeah.
What was it like recording with her?
Oh, it was heaven. She was over in the States for my 40th birthday in 2023. And I've been working on this project for a while
Mhm.
and knew I really, really wanted to honor her presence in my life because like we gay boys, if we're lucky, we've got, mothers, but then if we're lucky, we've got like an actual birth mother who is
Yeah.
very much a pillar in our lives. And that is most certainly Linda Randall in my life. I very much describe when people meet her, I'm like, see, I'm her, but corrupted. Like she's she's just a beacon of light and loveliness, and has been my entire life. And obviously, like I grew up in the country. It's like people don't
Yeah.
become cabaret artists when in little Traralgon, Victoria, Australia. Well, no, they do. Absolute nuisance than I am. So I was just like, let's get you in this. You're visiting for like 2 weeks. Let's get you in the studio. And she was amazing. She learned the German for the last in the last chorus. We do it in German. We do the first chant. I just found out that that song is now in the public domain, which is like, yay, I don't
Oh, yeah.
every now and then being a Weimar-era cabaretist pays off, literally, and it did
Yeah.
with that song. Um, but she was amazing. It just like in the studio with her huge headphones on, and just had an absolute blast. She and I had done pro-am amateur music theater together when I was growing up, so when I was a teenager. And she's very theatrical, just truly fabulous kind of person, but had never done anything like this before. And just to offer her that experience, and for her in turn to give me this beautiful souvenir of our relationship, just just really, it's so moving to me, and I hope other people get a kick out of it.
Awesome. Fantastic. So mostly Marlena was recorded live at Joe's Pub, is that correct?
Hmm.
So how does the energy of a live audience influence your performance?
Well, it's like when in like regular shows, it's very much just a very open exchange. When I know I'm recording a live album, I've done this twice now. I am very much in the back of my mind painting with listenable textures for like post
Okay.
work, and also responding in the moment. And I don't think there's any burglarizing of that live, because like I'm always about the room. You got to read the room, you got to be in the room, you got to be present. You just got to, that's the entire point. If you're not doing that, then you're already like stretching people enough by being like, I'm a cabaret artist, come to my
Yep.
show. You know what I mean? It's like you better be present, honey. Um, but what it is it's just like there are moments in on the album. So for example, the second built-in encore, or is it built-in encore? There's like over a minute of applause at the end of it.
Mhm.
And Tracy, my music director, and Daniel of Flux Studios, which is where we did all the post, they were like, okay, so obviously and I was like, oh no, we're gonna leave this whole like minute plus, which is also touching on a Judy Garland story, my favorite story about Marlena by another person of Judy Garland's and it's you can find it on YouTube. It's the absolute most wonderful thing ever. And she's telling the story on some talk show, and she's like, we're hanging out, and then Marlena comes over with this huge, like bigger than a regular big record. She's like, would you like to hear my record? And so, well, sure, we'd like to hear your record. And she was like, it is nothing but applause.
Mm.
Like, and she's like, oh, this is Frankfurt. Oh, this is brilliant. And it's just like that. And so, with that in mind, I was like, to me, it's an hilarious little something to just leave this actual massive, I don't know what. And then suddenly, like in the middle of this like minute worth of applause on my album, it sort of erupts all over again. I was like, did I take my pants off? I can't remember. I don't know how. So but anyway, so it's having them there. They are, whether it's being recorded for video or an album or just there for the night,
Mhm.
the audience is very much the extra character in
Yeah.
the extra actor, the extra presence that takes up as much very valid space as myself, as Tracy at the piano, and the lighting folks, and everybody who's contributing.
Perfect. And you're returning to Joe's Pub for the album release concert.
Yeah.
So, what can audiences ultimately expect from this experience? And what do you hope they ultimately take away from the album?
From the album, I would love to encourage anybody to become a cabaret nuisance if they so wished. I would love to encourage people to go out and see whatever city they live in or are visiting, to like check out, like, go see what's on at Joe's Pub, or, wherever you are, or the
Mhm.
Round in Melbourne, like, wherever you are in the world, go and like, because it's easy peasy to go and be like, oh, this and this and this and this
Yeah.
on like Today Ticks on Broadway, whatever. But like, go to those little, because like honestly, Like for example, again, Justin Vivian Bond. Like I went and saw her recent shows at Joe's Pub and just was just so blown away visiting with her the very core of herself and her just sort of like that thing I was touching on earlier about like uh, uh, uh holding space, creating space, but just like being a beacon for community. And we
Yeah,
really, 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 really need it right now.
yeah, definitely.
And
Definitely.
that's what I don't know, have community, be community, strive for community, have fun listening to my record. That's what I hope.
Right, perfect. So have you always had this passion for performing?
Yes,
Mm,
very, very, very much so. And I've taken advantage of whatever life has thrown me at me, or whatever little bubble of existence I've been in growing up in the country again. Like enough of us requested my high school that we wanted to do dance as a subject at school, and they got a teacher in from Melbourne, which is like 2.5 hours away or whatever. And we had dance for a full year at high school
mm.
in the country, which is like, and I'm talking like contemporary dance, like moving through honey and being very beautiful, like Watershead, and just like that's exactly what teenagers need.
Exactly.
But it's just somehow I've been able to manifest things throughout my life like that. And,
Perfect.
so short answer, yes.
Yes, short answer, yes, yes. And your work frequently revisits the Weimar era and its cabaret culture. So, what particularly drew you to this period, and why does it inspire you so much?
It was a time of rebellion, of resistance and defiance. And even when I had really, because I had a very pleasant upbringing, even when I had nothing to like rebel against, it's so delicious. And every teenager has
Yeah,
that urge, I feel. And just like I don't know, I've my favorite song of the period, which I perform, it's on my previous live album, which is just called Live at Joe's Pub. But like I sing it in my Christmas show. It opens my Christmas show, even though it's deeply inappropriate. Pirate Jenny from the Threepenny Opera by Brecht and Kurt Weill is one of my favorite songs for times like these, because it's basically the short of it is the setting is a seaside town and this little waif of a nothing who keeps getting trodden on, and she basically dreams up, whether it manifests in reality or is remains a fantasy. She basically dreams of bombarding the seaside town with a pirate ship and leaving it in rubble ruins.
mm,
And I just think there's something just so right now about that, about just sort of like the patriarchy, those absolute, can I swear, fuck faces in the positions of power they absolutely
yeah.
deserve to be in. Just like everything that is really trying to pummel us right now. It's like this great big black piratey freighter of like my heart just sort of like sneaking itself in the fog into a harbor and just I'm not really a violent person, but that song is really a tonic for times like these. And I've been singing it for like 20 years.
Perfect. Well, what are some other future goals you hope to accomplish with your career?
If any and all of the things.
Awesome.
It was in reading Danny Minogue's autobiography of probably, oh gosh, maybe that came out in like 2011 now. I was like, oh my God, what is time anymore, right? But reading that specific and I Kylie's my, as I said, my Jesus, but like Danny, very, very nothing wrong with Danny, very
Mm,
soft spot for her. But just especially reading her trajectory, careers are just a series of accidents. And so I manifest what I can, but whatever happy accident is next, I celebrate it.
Go for it. Yes, love it. Well, Kim, how can one stay up to date with you the best?
Staying up to date with me, the best. Look, I hate to say it, but Instagram is for the time being. Don't try to get me on Facebook. I don't look at it very often, but weirdly Australians use it a bunch, and so there's a few people that it's like the only way I know how to. Anyway, blah blah blah. Blue Sky, I'm trying to sort of massage that one just in case that sort of takes off. But kimdavidsmith.com is your best bet.
Okay. Okay, perfect website. Love it. All right, then before we wrap up, are there any other upcoming projects or anything else you'd like to mention or plug at this time?
No, but I'm very, very excited because I'm all full steam ahead. March 21, show at Joe's Pub, album coming out, stream it, be there, do it. I'm very excited about that though. We're doing a really cool jazzy version of from Kylie's Tension 2 album. We're doing
Okay.
a really cool jazz version of Someone for Me, which I assumed was going to be on the tour set list. Cannot wait, but it's not. I'm like, oh my God. So that's your one chance, guys. Come in here as Someone for Me at Joe's Pub on March 21 because Kylie's not doing it.
All right, fantastic.